What's up, guys? Jeff Boski here. On this edition of Boski Hands, we're going to be going over 4 important hands played by Mike Postle. If you don't know, Mike Postle was one of the biggest winners in all of the Sacramento area for the past year. Let's see what Mike Postle does that establishes him as one of the greatest no-limit players that ever lived.
Mike P is in the zone, says Stephen H. Yeah, man, he is feeling it. He has made basically no missteps tonight. He got into one cooler spot where he turned a set of 10s with pocket 10s, and his opponents, I can't remember if one or both made a better hand, but he was able to, one of them made a, they both made flushes. They both made flushes. No, he was third best. Yeah. They both rivered flushes, and he was able to get away from it. And so even in the spot where he could have been really epically coolered, he was able to avoid a river disaster. So yeah, man, he is just feeling it.
In this hand, the blinds are 5-5 with the $10 straddle. We see an early position limp with the 8-4 suited. Don't do this. Action folds to the 9-4 suited, who puts in a raise to $75. Don't do this either, just fold. Jack-8 offsuit puts in the flat call. Don't do this. And then our hero in the hand, Mike Postle, looks down at 3-deuce offsuit on the button. An easy fold under most circumstances, but maybe this guy's doing a little something different. He might be playing a little bit above the rim today. He puts in the flat call. He does have position, and he does have blockers to pocket 3s and pocket deuces, so that's worth something. The big blind has $5 invested and looks down at Jack-10 offsuit, so he flicks in another 70. Don't do this. And the other players come along for the ride. We're 5 ways to a flop of Queen, Queen, 7. Action checks to the original raiser, who actually has a flush draw, so this is a good time to continue the story and put in a C bet. If somebody doesn't have a queen, you might just get it through. And of course, you can build the pot against slow played queens. When you hit your flush, it's pretty disguised. So I advise a C bet here with a 9-high flush draw, but he does not C bet. He checks, and everybody else checks, so let's see a turn. The turn is a 3, putting the backdoor spade draw out there, and Mike Postle somehow has the best hand. Action checks again to the pre-flop raiser with the 9-4 of hearts, and he thinks now is a good time to take a stab. No one showed any strength, so pretty reasonable that he could have been slow playing a queen or a middling pair and now going for value. He bets $225. Action folds to Mike Postle on the button, who has now turned 2-pair, deuce kicker. Pretty marginal spot here. You're not ahead of much, so it's usually a fold or call spot, but Mike Postle looks deep down into his soul and reads his man for a flush draw, and he puts in the raise, $575 to go. Excellent read, Mike. Somehow knows his 2-pair is good. Somehow, some way. Action folds back to the 9-4 of hearts. What do you do in this spot? You're out of position with a bad flush draw on a paired board.
God, and Mike again knows he has the best hand flop here. He turns a 3, and he's like, I have the best hand. So either way, okay, let's say it's a pot size bet, and Lock 'em Up just has to fold. A, he doesn't have. Mike does have the best hand. B, Lock 'em Up is going to try to draw to a flush on a paired board. He can't know that his 9 and his 4 are any good, so he just has to fold. So again, Mike's instincts are just Mike. Yeah, Mike can see his opponent's cards right now. He just can see their cards. I mean, okay. Here's what a lot of players would do in that spot. If it goes, first of all, they wouldn't be playing 3-deuce in a raise pot in the first place. But
if you had a pair on this board,
let's say they did find themselves with 3-deuce, and the flop went check check, and then they turn a pair of 3s, and the board was paired on the so they have queens and 3s. Okay, a lot of times they have turned the best hand, which is exactly what Mike figured out. I have turned the best hand here. But what a lot of players would do is not raise; they would call, right? Like their opponent would bet at them, and they'd be like, I think I have the best hand here now because it went check check, and like, what do you have? You really have 3 queens? Call. Okay, right. And then what river comes?
3 queens, I call.
I call. But then every single river card sucks for your hand, and your opponent maybe is going to barrel at you again if they're bluffing, and you're not going to be able to call. Are you going to call again? Or they're going to river a heart, and now you don't have the best hand, or river a 9, and they're going to be like, check, and then you're like, check, 3? So in other words, a lot of players, including probably myself, if I wouldn't be there with 3-deuce, but if I was like, I would maybe call, like, I think I have the best hand. Call. And then I would set myself up for a million different scenarios where I lose this pot on the river. Mike is too smart for that. So he is like, I have the best hand. So the first part of the logic, we do the same thing. But the second part is where Mike varies because he has the heart to click back at his opponent, and the hand just ends right there. His opponent's going to have 3 queens sometimes. Come right back over the top, Mike can fold. His opponent is going to call sometimes, although probably not often because he had a flush draw and he still couldn't call, right? So like most of the time, the hand is just going to end right there and Mike is going to scoop it up, and that's just a sick play by Mike. Occasionally, your opponent will have had 3 queens as played. They will come back over the top or whatever, or call, and you can shut down on the river, and whatever, he'll lose those times. But, man, so much of the time, what you just saw is what's going to happen, and Mike is going to scoop this huge pot. The huge pot is 3 deuce. He's scooping hundreds of dollars.
Let the youngsters come in and take care of all the other legality, you know, all the aspects that they didn't know, because the elders back there, I asked them, how do you build a bridge across the river? They would say, easy, just cut a tree and let it fall over. So they're just old school with you know, they don't have any type of tech right. You know, the modern technology thing. Yeah. So I stepped in. I was like, you know what?
Hey, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt. But
I want to go back to the poker. Yeah, here's the hand. So let's figure it out here. So it looks like you raised with you just decided to open the pot up, and Mike 3-bet with ace king, and you're gonna come along here and see a flop.
So what are you thinking when you get 3-bet here?
Okay, because I saw him with 8-6, and he was able to make that play back then. I figured his range was pretty wide, right? So because he beat me with 8-6, I was like, I actually told him in there, I was like, hey, you don't have 8-6 hands, do you? And he was like, no. And, you know, he chuckled. So I called, right? So now I flop. You know, I have a decent equity here. And let's see what happens here. I think
So he checked to you.
He checked to me, so I figured, okay, ace king, ace queen suited, right? That's my thought process, and so I was just gonna bet here, and
yeah, and Mike's got the wheel draw. He's not going anywhere. The jack of nothing. It's a brick. Mike checks again. And what are we doing now? We're not slowing down. I like it. Mike still just has ace high. And he just refuses to be blown off the hand.
You bet about 250.
Well, knowing his hand now, I think because he has like ace king, he's floating because he could hit an ace, a king, or a 4. I think that's what he's thinking.
Of course, certainly, or ace high might be the best hand. So those are all the reasons for the call, and the flop makes total sense. Now here on the turn, though, it's getting a little dicier. You know, now we've missed all of those float cards. Now we're just calling, thinking ace high is the best hand. And there's another brick on the river. Nobody has hit anything. And Mike is going to now check a 3rd time, right? I mean, obviously he's not leading.
Yes.
He looks at his cards again. Do I have the ace of spades? Nope. He doesn't even have any blockers. He checks again. And now you are here in no man's land with no choice to win the pot other than to bluff. And you shove. And that's a great shove. Mike finds a call here? God, it's such a sick call. He beats air.
I was trying to manufacture a win, guys.
He beats only air.
I'm a donkey, but a donkey with a reason here. Come on now.
Yeah, but not like somebody said in the chat. It's like, you know, this works against like 95% of players. It just Mike's that 1% of people that can put it all together and also then have the courage to call.
Yeah.
Because even people can still put it together, but
like,
they
just
can't hit
still
the button. Like,
yeah.
Okay, fine.
Totally.
I think you're full of S, but I'm still going to fold.
I don't think he's a 5% right here of the players. I think he's like 0.00005 of the players here, because it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
How can you call here?
That guy is really something amazing.
Yeah, and Mike, somehow, he just has you dead red for air? I mean, gosh. He's not even beating some of the like semi-bluffs that you're making here, where like you're turning a 2 into a bluff, you know?
Man.
Like you have like 2 like 10-2 of look at if you can have 8-6 offsuit, you can have 10-2 of diamonds here. I mean, I know it's a 3-bet pot, but for God's sakes. Like so what if you have something like a 2s that has to bluff? I don't know, man. He just doesn't even beat some of the bluffs you're making.
I could have 5-4 here, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, but I think Mike thinks that if you had 5-4, like maybe you're going to check back on turn sometimes. Like I don't think you're going to necessarily triple barrel 5-4. So I think that you can have a 2 here sometimes. But I don't know, man. To show up with
no,
air,
I mean, you know, it's possible for me to triple barrel with a 5-4 because if he has a hand like pocket 8s, 9s, 10s here, you know, so now there's 2 overs, right?
Wow,
so
Mike
so
is sick.
yeah, he did.
I just want to see the whole table's face when they see. AC's like, whoa.
AC's like, God. And now
even the masseuse is like, wait, what the hell?
The whole chat is now going to chime in with like, I'm booking my ticket. I'll be there tomorrow. Can't wait to play in this game.
I wish the dude come.
Ace checks.
Check.
Check on an ace. All right. I'll check.
Check it. Check, check.
Check. 4th Street.
Hold on there a fucking second.
Easy. What are you doing?
Give me the deck. What's the trouble, Stu?
Relax, man. Don't get so agitated.
Looks like we got a road gang here.
What the hell's going on over here, Stu?
That guy's a god. Check out this hand from this session.
What are you saying? I don't even know what you're saying.
He's saying you're dealing off the bottom of the deck.
Oh, God. Come on, guys.
What did he give him?
To me?
7 of hearts.
You boys professionals? You working?
Hey, no, listen. I was winning before this guy got here, all right?
Okay, let's let the cards do the talking. If the 7 didn't help you, we'll listen to what you have to say. Ozzy, turn the cards.
What? Hey, come on. It's 3 of a kind. You dealt Ozzy 3 6s like... I'm just saying, it's 3
One
of a kind.
last thing, Stu.
Well, hey, all right, take it easy now. Aren't you supposed to, like, read us our rights, please?
All right, Mike is showing that he likes to raise any old hand. Cards be damned. It doesn't matter. All that matters is aggression and aggression.
And aggression.
Yeah. All right, and Lou is going to defend his button. And AC is going to call. All right, ace 5 on the flop. Lou with the backdoor, straight draw, flush draw. Mike still with the 7 deuce, bluffing cards. AC, we don't know.
Mike Postle decides to bet $55 on the ace-5 flop. Definitely a good bet with his range advantage. Should get a lot of folds and be immediately profitable. Lou is not buying what Mike is selling, and he puts in the call with the backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw, and king high. When the turn brings a 10, Mike continues the story and bets $110.
All right, so we'll see if the $110 bet works. Might be difficult now that Lou has a gut shot straight draw, but I think he's really more looking to have a diamond.
What is Mike
come
going
out.
for here?
Mike at this point, he's just pure bluffing.
Okay.
Yeah,
see, that's
just,
kind of what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure if there was actually a strategy
but
behind it.
Well, there is he raised pre-flop, so he's going to have more aces in his range. Now, this raise from Lou isn't, if he raises, isn't really kind of the smartest thing, because it's like, would you really do this if you had an ace? You know, like if you had, let's say, a full house or something, would you really be raising here and stop your opponent from bluffing? Like, it doesn't kind of make any sense. If you had the ace, why would you want to raise here and have your bluffing opponent stop bluffing?
Mike Postle reads Rich like a book and puts in the 3-bet to $585.
So this is also why you don't want to raise here. You know, with the King Jack, is now you just get met with a 5-bet. Like, he just kind of sees it for what it is. You don't, like, why would you be raising with an ace here?
And it gets through. Rich has to fold his king high, which happens to be the best hand. Mike scoops a monster pot with 7 deuce offsuit. He points at the victim, gets tempted to show his hand, says a few words, and eventually shows the bluff. He can't help himself. Duper's delight in full effect, slaps hands with a neighbor, and celebrates in victory.
Andrew Postle, Mike Jr., which is probably really insulting, dude. Sorry. Andrew. He's his own man. He says, my brother gets paid off when he is bluffing people, and they think has something, and when he has something, people think he's bluffing. Oh, I see. Right. Right. Yeah, man. He's been just extra experty tonight at having his opponents pay him when he has it and having his opponents fold when they do not. And he's just setting himself up in perfectly tonight. You really, I mean, what can you say? I mean, the guy can see his opponent's cards right now. It's really, really hard to play against a guy who knows what you have all the time and just always seems to find the perfect move. And as I was saying, you know, I mean, finding the perfect move in spots where very few people would make that exact move. You know, he's finding raises when most people would find calls. He's finding calls when most people would find folds. Bets when most people would find checks. Just a table that I don't really want to be at this exact moment. But Andrew, I bet you do, man. I bet you do. Like, you're like, I can take this guy. There was this one bet that I won against him when I was 7, and ever since then, I've known I can take him. Let's see if Lock Him Up can take this one. He does have a gut shot to Broadway, but he's going to have to beat Brandon's Kang. Mike has 8s, and if we've learned anything tonight, it's that Mike doesn't need the best hand or the best draw or the best anything to win. However, Harlan, that's right, Harlan has fired 300 with the old 9 high. And Brandon is hemming and hawing with his king. Oh, and he's going to fold. You can tell by his body language. He hates it. He hates it. He can only beat a bluff. His opponent has a bluff. So the ace-10 got out. Because, yeah, what do? You know, you're just going to cold call a pot-sized bet with a gut shot? Nope. And, oh, man, Harlan gets the king to fold, too. And now Mike is sitting here with the best hand, bottom pair, and he's going to have to fold. How in the world can Mike continue? How in the world? I just can't see it. Oh, God, but you could tell Mike's instincts are so good. He's like, I don't want to fold here. He has 3rd pair, and he's like, I don't want to fold. I mean, you know, oh, my God, dude. Mike is just ridiculous. He finds a call, and Harlan is in absolute no man's land here. Mike checks, and what is Harlan going to do now? Is he going to fire? How is Mike folding? Harlan has no choice. He can't check. He has no showdown value. He knows if he gives up, the hand is over. Mike's going to win. There's $900 in the pot. Good Lord, dude. Mike is just like... Brent.
Is the dentist in?
Yeah, we need like the whirring sound effect of like the dentist drill and the burning tooth smell. I mean, it is just full blown.
Do it.
He's got his assistant scraping your tooth with a hook. I mean, he's just dentisting it up right now. And Harlan does bet again because he has to. And Mike, is he gonna find another call? I mean, I just can't. If he calls the flop, I mean, why is he folding now? I guess like he would think, well, I mean, I didn't believe you on the flop, but now if you're going to bet again at me after I call you, I guess I believe you. But Mike doesn't believe Harlan at all. And look at him. He's like, what should I do? This is going to be fascinating to see what happens. And what is Mike saying? Mike is like, he calls him. He's like, he probably was like, I don't believe you at all, Harlan. I call. So now, it didn't even need it. But now, now Harlan can never blow him off the hand now. Never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Now, Harlan has tried twice.
I wanted a card that if Harlan shoved the river would be a tough spot for Mike. That's what I want.
I just can't even...
Unbelievable. I got some.
And Mike checks again, which is the perfect move. See now, and like, you know, some players would like, oh, I find 2 pair on the river, barrel, and it wouldn't, you know, then Harlan just has to fold. Mike's too good for that. Mike's like, check. What you gonna do, Harlan?
1.8.
And Harlan is like, what do I do?
In the pot.
You know, Harlan has like, what is that? 5, 1,000. Like, Harlan has like
Harlan
what, 1,600
behind.
Doing
this with like 9, 10, right? So he does not have, or ace 10 of. Maybe.
I mean, if Harlan can have 9 deuce here, why? No, you're right, because
I'm trying to think of a hand
you're
that
right,
Mike
you're right.
would fold
so let's
to.
say that Harlan has something like 9-10. Well, okay, fine. He would bet the flop and Mike calls, but I think Harlan is just going to check behind with a legitimate draw on the turn a lot. So I think.
Yeah, but what if he has 9-10 of clubs? I
well,
mean, that's a very specific hand. That's one specific hand.
Yes, then he might play it this way. But like you said, that's okay. He has to fire. He has no choice.
He
has to fire, and Mike hasn't.
1,200 into 1,800.
And Mike has an easy call now. He had 2 hard calls, and now he's got an easy call. And why is he agonizing?
But
you know why?
It could be like it could be king jack.
It could be.
Flatting.
It could be.
We were thinking straights, but hands that beat 2 pair,
Harlan
like not even top 2.
You're right. Harlan has fired all 3 streets. So I'm being a little bit, you know, I can see the cardsy by saying like, why is Mike thinking? Oh my God, I can totally understand Mike's parry. Yeah. I mean, okay, look, obviously he's just thinking it over. He's gonna call. Spoiler alert: there's no chance he calls 2 times on flop and turn with his exact holding and now folds.
Oh!
He's gonna call. Of course, he cannot fold.
What?
It would have been fascinating to see
sick.
if Mike doesn't hit a queen there. Let's say the river's a brick ball.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I wanted.
Oh, he does call. Mike just takes Harlan to the freaking clean. Or no, I should say he puts Harlan in his dentist chair, refuses him Novocaine, and goes to town with a drill.